Hey up folks, it's Saturday and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been a quiet couple of days. We've, well, first of all, let me get through to the stuff that I'm interested in. I've done a new way of doing my vlog. I hope it's okay. If you can, let me know what you think about it. There's a new intro screen. I'll also be putting, I'll start putting a page at the front of it, letting people know where certain things are at certain times. I'll only be doing that when I know there's more than 2 or 3 things in, like today I'll be just doing this talking, which I will lovely refer to as blah blah blah. That will come up. And I'm also doing a couple of poems which I've written. So yeah, so I'll get to the blah 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 bit now. We've had a shopping delivery. We had it a couple of days ago, and everything we ordered was there except for 3 items, and the 3 items weren't really that important. We managed to pick them up, but I just wanted to tell you about one of the substitutions. If you're not from the UK, you might not know what I'm talking about here, but Walkers, who make crisps in this country, do a thing called puffed. They are basically hula hoops, but puffed versions of them. And I ordered 2 packs of beef to go on the online shopping, so that I've got them in for when I fancy a snack. They didn't have any in stock, so they sent me 9 white Twixies. If you can figure out how them 2 match, I do not know, because one is crisps and it's a savoury snack, and the other is chocolate and it's a sweet snack. And if I was diabetic, I would not be very happy at all. Luckily I'm not diabetic, so I will eat them. But it's still a bizarre thing to replace, I'm thinking. I mean, you don't often... it's like ordering milk and saying, sorry, we didn't have any skim milk, so we've sent you 5 pounds of potatoes. I don't get it. Anyway, like I said, I've decided to revamp my vlog. I've decided to make it a bit more modern. And instead of having me waffling at the start of it and waffling at the end, because I don't really need that, I'm going to have screens from now on telling you what the vlog's called, and also the end screen. All my information's on there, everything from my Facebook page, my Twitter page, my Instagram, and obviously my YouTube channel with a subscribe link. I've got nearly 700 subscribers now. When I first started off, I wanted to get about 50 if I was lucky. And now I'm on nearly 700, and it's picking up, it really is. People are enjoying watching my vlogs, which is nice to see, because I said at the start of it, and I'll say it again for those people who are new to me vlogs, you won't ever get me climbing Mount Everest or doing bungee jumping or skydiving or taking you for a tour around Venice or anything like that, because I am, even after self-isolation, I am restricted to what I can do because of my disability. Now again, this is for the new people, so if you want to skip through this, but you can. But I suffer with a condition called CMT. And basically, CMT, for those people who are wondering why it's called living with CMT, it is a nerve and muscle wasting disease, and it stands for Charcot-Marie-Tooth. Now, it's had a couple of names. In 1995, when I was diagnosed with it, it was called hereditary motor sensory neuropathy, and it got renamed to Charcot-Marie-Tooth, and I've got Charcot-Marie-Tooth 1A. Now, how it affects me is these things. My hands, that's an average sort of how my hands are. If I try and stretch them out, it's not easy. My fingers, yeah. Anyway, that's one of the things which obviously affects me gripping, holding, carrying, all sorts of stuff like that. I don't do a lot of things like that. If I sit at the dinner table, the meal is brought to me, and then I don't carry plates. I don't often carry cups either. I have sort of figured out how I can get a cup of tea from the kitchen unit over there to my desk here without spilling it. I just have to use that white wall that you can see there. That white wall, that's the wall I use as a crutch, because once I pick my tea up and I turn round, I need something to put my hand on, whether it be on the left side or the right side. I need something. But it's also the main thing it does affect is my legs. Now, when I was younger, I used to be quite sporty. I wasn't only good at sport, don't get me wrong, but I used to take part in a lot of sports, things like cricket, football, and I used to love them. I used to love football. Football was my passion. I was mad about it. But I was never any good at it, don't get me wrong. I could hit a good shot, but I was never any good at football. I couldn't do it. I was always falling over all the time. And of course, back then when I was at school, I thought it was because I was dozy and awkward. And to find out when you're 23 that it was actually something that you'd had since you were born is a bit of a, it's a relief, don't get me wrong, but I would have loved to have known about it 16 years before. Anyway, yeah, I used to do all sporting stuff. The other thing I used to like doing was walking miles, and I mean miles, because where I lived, not at Braidley so much, but at Braidley where I was brought up, in Stoke-on-Trent, we used to have to walk. For my first school, it was literally just down the road, literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you were there. But for my junior school, I used to have to walk about 1.5 miles, 2 miles one way. And then when I got to high school, I used to have to walk 1.5 miles to 2 miles the other way. So I did quite a lot of walking, and I enjoyed it. So that when we moved to Cobridge, which is in Stoke-on-Trent still, and I was absolutely miles away from my school, even though I had a bus pass, which I did use, sometimes I would walk halfway and then catch the bus, or get off the bus halfway and walk if it was a lovely day. Now, if I walk from here to our local shop, which is about 10-minute walk, I'm shattered. I'm worn out. My legs are knackered. My legs are tired. They ache. I need to keep stopping all the time because I can't walk for too long at all. My legs really, really do ache. And the other problem I've got, when I stop, if I stop for longer than about 5 minutes, my legs go to sleep. They go numb. So when I go to walk off, all of a sudden I've only got one leg that's normal and one leg that I can't feel because it's asleep. So it sort of bends and buckles and I nearly end up on my backside. So I've got two evils really. One that says I can't walk too far and I have to stop, but once I stop, my leg goes sleep. So, and it's all linked with CMT, you see. But unfortunately, I haven't only got CMT. I've got a thing called hypothyroidism, which means I've got an underactive thyroid, which means I have to take medication, because before I didn't take the medication, I was falling asleep every single afternoon. At about 1 or 2 o'clock, I would have to go for 2 or 3 hours sleep a time. And it got to me a bit, because I don't want to sleep the summer away. I wanted to be out and about. And I now take medication to keep that under control. But if I don't take the medication, then obviously I'll be back falling asleep again. But I've also got gastroesophageal reflux disease, which people seem to think is acid reflux, but it's a bit worse than that because it's a disease. It's not just something that comes, it's something I have got on a permanent basis. And it can happen if I eat spicy food. It can happen if I eat too fast. It can happen if I eat the wrong foods. So I've got to be careful of that as well. And as well as that, I have a lot of severe pain in the base of my spine. So I have to take medication for that as well. So all the vlogs most of the vlogs you see will be me sitting here. Now I have come up with some new screens for unboxings and stuff like that. And obviously once I get a box to unbox, I will be able to show you. But the last few days, obviously the coronavirus is the big thing at the moment, and I'm not going to say too much about it other than that me and Deb are fine. Deb's mum and dad are fine, my mum's fine, and my family are fine. We don't really know anybody who's been badly affected by it yet, and I'm hoping, touch wood, that stays the same and it stays the case. I've got a lot of friends all over the country, and so far none of them have reported in that any of their parents or grandparents or themselves or anybody have got it. So fingers crossed that things are looking okay on that front. I don't think the lockdown is going to end, or they're going to give us a new idea next week when it's supposed to be the 3-week, and then everything will be looked at again. It's got to stay for longer than that, because on a daily basis I live outside the back of me is a big cemetery, and there's a lot of people who walk the dogs through it. And we have still noticed people not social distancing. We've seen them congregating in groups of 4 and 5. And it's just not going to go away if you keep doing stupid things like that. I don't see the mentality of people. They're moaning that we're having to stay in, and then they're doing all they can to make sure we have to stay in longer. If you can figure out the logic behind that, you can tell me. Now, what I'm going to say is going to probably anger some people, and I don't mean it to, but the first week when we did the applauding for the NHS, me and my wife Deb stood outside and we clapped and we clapped and we clapped and we clapped. Yeah, we did it brilliant. It was the first time and it was a novelty. It was fantastic because it was our way of showing appreciation. Second week's come along and they wanted us to do it again, but unfortunately Deb wasn't feeling too well. She was ill, and I don't stand outside on my own. I can't do that because of my anxiety, which is something else I suffer with, by the way. Anxiety, stroke, depression, even though you wouldn't know it. So yeah, the second week, and now all of a sudden people started saying, well, on Friday night we're shining a torch up to heaven, and on this night we're doing this, we're doing this. I could do a million of them things, right? I could do every single one, every single week. But I would rather stay in and save the NHS the inconvenience, because a friend of mine pointed it out on the internet the other day. He said, what is the point of standing outside, clapping your hands and celebrating the NHS, and then the next day go and meet your mates? Because that's what people are doing. They're hypocrites. And I won't be that. I would rather say, look, when this is over, me and Deb can hold our hands up and say we did the self-isolation, we did the social distancing, we looked after our health and hygiene with the wipes and hand wash and all that sort of stuff. We didn't push the boundaries by seeing people we shouldn't have seen. Even when I've had my sister come down, she has literally dropped something off at our front doorstep, knocked on the door, gone back to her car. I've come to the front door, answered the front door, and then I've left something on the front doorstep, then she's come back and picked up whatever I've given. So we've done our bit, and if at the end of it we can hold our heads up and say we did what we were asked to do, that means more than any clapping, shining lights, stamping your feet, twirling about in a tutu. It means more than all of that, because you're doing what you're told. I know a lot of people, unfortunately, don't like being told what to do. You will have those people who are sitting there going, no government's going to tell me what to do. Swallow your pride. That's all I will say. Swallow your pride. Don't be a stubborn ass, because pride comes before a fall. And in this case, pride could come before death, because it is that serious. I mean, I like to think I haven't got it, but I am not taking the chance that I might have it, and speak to people who are vulnerable and say, oh no, I haven't got it, you're all right, you won't catch it off me. How do I know that? I'm no doctor. I couldn't self-diagnose me just because I'm not showing the symptoms. This is the problem people have got. Because they're not showing the symptoms, they're not actually bothered if they haven't got it. If they haven't got it, they can't like, oh no, I'm fine, I'm all right, my mate's fine, he's all right, so we'll go down and we'll meet down the park and have a laugh and everything. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you're not showing the symptoms. It doesn't mean you haven't got it. You know, just stay at home. When this is all over and it's all blown over and it's all died down and disappeared, we can have one massive party, if you want. We can have one massive kick-ass party to celebrate the UK getting over it, etc., etc. But until that time, stay indoors. Yes, go out if you want for a little breath of fresh air, you know, have a walk around your street or whatever, that's fine. But don't arrange to meet your friends. Don't go to barbecues just because the sun's out. Because the longer you do stupid things like that, the longer everybody's got to suffer. Sometimes it's beyond me. It's beyond me. I got asked to fill in something today. It was very good, actually. It was a statement about suicide, men's suicide. Now, years ago, when I was a lot younger, I was bullied a lot at school, really badly. And I got to the point where I didn't care if I lived or died, and I was going to take my own life, and I tried and I failed. And once again, when I split with my first wife, who treated me like a punch bag and literally physically and emotionally abused me from the day we got married, I again went into a fit of depression, and I was going to take my own life. And I know exactly how that feels, because you don't care. You don't care. You don't warn people that you're going to do it. If you warn people you're going to do it, that's a cry for help. And I can understand that. That's a cry for help. But if you're serious about doing it, mate, you do it. And I attempted to do it and failed, because I completely missed what I was supposed to be doing. And the second time I tried to do it, all I was bothered about was how it would hit me mum if she found me in my bedroom dead. That's all I was bothered about. I wasn't bothered about me. I was quite happy to, you know, meet me make it, whatever. But I didn't do it because I was worried about my mum. I didn't know how my mum would react, because my mum had done nothing wrong. Well, you know, I didn't want my mum to feel anything from it, but I knew that if I did that and she found me, she'd have to live with that, and it could really, you know, it could have destroyed her. And I hate to think of doing that to somebody. You know, I mean, it's one of them things. So when I got this thing through and asked to fill it in, I did it because I know that male suicide is a massive problem in this world. It's not highlighted very often. I mean, groups like that I'm a member of, like Movember, the Movember campaign and Prostate Cancer UK, they deal with all these sorts of things, because obviously prostate cancer is a big cancer killer amongst men. You can't ask women to do it because they haven't got prostate, so that knackers that up. But suicide in men is equally as important, because every single day men are killing themselves because they're depressed, because they can't see the kids, because the wife doesn't want them no more, whatever reason, they're killing themselves. And we need to be aware that this is happening. And so I will fill in these things. I'll fill them in and I'll send them every day if I get them every day. And all they asked me to do was simple: nominate 10 men who I know, which was easy, and post a picture of just myself, just me, this ugly mug, just one simple shot. So I did it. I've no skin off my nose. You know, I did it to raise awareness of male suicide, because at the end of the day, no offence, but if I'm not bothered about it, then who will be? You know, all men around the world, I don't care whether they're African, Asian, English, German, French, Spanish, whatever, I don't care. All men should be aware that there are people out there who can help them. You know, there's more help nowadays than there's ever been. So next time, if you think there's nobody there, there is. Even if you want to message me, at the end of my vlog you will see my details with my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram, right? If you want to message me just to talk, feel free. Feel free, it don't cost anything, and I will listen. I'll listen, I won't just whatever. I don't do that. One of the things I've always been good at doing is listening to other people's problems. And not because I'll go, oh yeah, I really sympathise, because I don't do sympathy. Don't get me wrong. If you're doing something that is your fault, you're doing it out of choice, then you won't get no sympathy, because I don't do sympathy, and I don't like sympathy myself. If people are concerned about me, fantastic. If people feel sympathy towards me, do one. Because I don't need sympathy. I don't like sympathy. Sympathy makes me cringe. And unfortunately, there's a fine line between sympathy and care. And some people cross it quite easily. But I've got friends who are there for me, you know, who I can talk to when I need to talk to them. There's lots of them. I can name just two off the top of my head. Mr. Ian Maddock, who's been there most of my life, to be honest with you, at least 30 years, maybe a bit longer, 32, 33 years, something like that. And a recent friend of mine called Stephen Cook, who, even though I've never met the guy, we get on absolutely like house on fire. He's like a brother who lives down south. You know, we talk and we rattle and we discuss things about life and everything, and he watches me vlogs and he likes me poetry, and, you know, he's just like a friend who I wish I'd have had for the last 20 years, but unfortunately I've only known him for about 6 months, I think. But it seems like I've known him longer, you know. And I think if you can get talking to somebody online, even though you don't know them, you can still get a fantastic friendship going. I mean, I'm still talking, believe it or not. I still message and talk to some of my friends from 30 years ago when I was living at Cambridge. I mean, Carl Bradbury, James Mayer occasionally. You know, these are people who I know. Even one of my old mates, David Grocott. Now, when I was at school, yeah, we didn't get on for the first couple of years, but then all of a sudden we became friends. And I still talk to him nowadays. I still see his posts about the PlayStation 4. Now he thinks it beats the Xbox. It doesn't. Xbox is brilliant. Sorry, mate. Just my opinion. It's my opinion. But see, I've been Xbox all my life. I've been Microsoft all my life. I can't go on to PlayStation. I don't know why. I just can't. But that, again, you see, we're friends, and we don't talk about, you know, we don't have to talk about deep stuff, but we can talk about deep stuff if we need to. I don't feel embarrassed about talking to any of my mates about my problems. If I'm having problems, and I know that talking is sometimes the best thing, because a problem shared, sometimes it's a problem halved, but be careful who you tell, because some people will use it against you and stab you in the back. I'll give you a prime example just quickly. When I first got married, years and years ago, I got married, and My wife found out that I was a gambler, and I was a bad gambler, really bad gambler, but I stopped. When I met her, I stopped. And I told her about how in my life I'd been a gambler and how I used to lie and spend money that wasn't mine, etc, etc. Thought nothing of it because she was my wife, so I trusted her. Why not? When we split up, it turns out that she told her mum and her nan that the reason we were always skint was because I was always gambling the money away. I never saw the money. I never saw the money because I used to get paid in them days by a gyro book. And I used to go down the post office and she'd be with me and I'd cash it in and she'd have a purse open ready just to put all the money in. And then she'd give me some spending money. Out my own money. She'd give me a tenner to last me a week. So I wasn't gambling. I wasn't gambling at all. So yeah, be careful who you tell, because some people will use it against you and stab you in the back. But if you know a true friend, then job done. Anyway, I've rattled on for 20 odd minutes. I do apologise for that. But coming up, a couple of poems. Bye for now. Right, here we go. The first poem I'm going to read out to you is a very poignant poem called My Shadow, My Choice. And basically, it's about taking control of your life and not letting certain things dictate to you. So I'll read it out now. I have a shadow. It's with me always. I call it pain. I wake with it and it stays with me. Sun, rain, wind, snow, it doesn't care. I try to keep it at bay, but it's a losing battle. My life is governed by it. I don't let it control me, though it wants to. I feel it everywhere and all the time. My hands, feet, legs, fingers and toes. Anywhere it can affect me, it does. Except I won't let it control me all my life. I laugh even through the pain. I smile because I'm still able to. I walk every step an achievement. I look at my life and I'm thankful. It's easy to let it cover me and destroy me. Easy, yes, but I can't. I won't. If I do, then it will have won. I control my shadow. It stays with me. Time will tell. And that was a poem I wrote, like I said, because I am in constant pain, but I won't let it dictate my life. So that's the first poem. Now, I've just broached on the subject with you of finding a friend who you can trust, who you can rely on, and who you are there for them as well as they are there for you, because there's no point having a 50% friendship and it all 100% friendship and it all being one way, because if somebody's only there for you when they want you, that isn't a true friend. And this is basically about that, and it's called Easy. It's easy to want me when others are not there, to say that I listen and how nice that I care. But then I'm forgotten as a new voice is heard. I think to myself, but I don't say a word. It's so easy to find friends all around, but not to find friends that hear every sound, that know when you're hurting because they feel your pain. I think to myself, but the doubts still remain. You say I'm special and that I am so good, that I hear your problems and have not misunderstood. But then suddenly I don't hear a word from you. I think to myself, because it's so easy to do. So it's easy to want me and easy to care. Easy to say that you'll always be there. Easy to be someone that you say is true. But when it comes to it really, will you see it through? And again, like I said, that's a poem that just basically puts into perspective friendship. I've been involved in quite a lot of friendships where it's been one way, and after a while you turn to yourself and you say, hang on a minute, I'm worth more than that. And that's what I did, and that's why some people have just been left floating in the water, because I value myself a lot more than I used to. Anyway, that's it for now. You all take care. Enjoy the ending.